Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. I'm with Bri Bagwell, bribagwell.com. Her website's amazing. She's got a tour coming out, Hello Highway Tour 2023. I'm actually, I keep saying this every year, and I told Greg Knight and Zara Knight have the farm jam up in Colville, Washington on for a 3-day end of summer bash. Bri Bagwell is performing. I forget what night you're on, Bri. Do you remember? I can look right here.
I think it's September 1st.
September 1st.
So is that Saturday?
Oh, you got the
Friday.
Saturday.
That might be Friday. Wait,
I
don't know. Let me look at I got my calendar pulled up right here.
Yeah,
well, I'm sorry. I meant to look this up.
Oh, you're on Friday.
Yeah, I'm on Friday.
September 1st.
Okay.
So this place is amazing, Farm Jam. Have you played there before?
I have not. I'm so excited. I've played in Washington once, but I've never played Farm Jam, and I can't wait.
Oh, it's so beautiful out there. I used to live up in Washington and Montana and Idaho, and so it's just so. But with Washington, there where you're going, it's just this beautiful, like gold fields and big skies. Just beautiful. You're gonna love it. And then they've got a river running through it. 3 days up there. Farm Jam, real farm, real people, real music. And Bri Bagwell. You got to go. Okay, so we were talking about when we went to break the stage and your love for the stage, and you've been quoted as saying it's in touring and performing is in my blood. I think you had 100. Did you have 150 tour dates last year?
I mean, we're still kind of recovering from COVID, so I think I only have around 100. But before COVID, I was doing that many. I know, it's crazy, and I also don't count like radio days or charity days or whatever. So it's crazy. I think it has to. I said that also because Johnny Cash and my grandma were second cousins, so I think music is like literally in my blood. But I think to be able to love the road and to love the highway, like it has to be. I mean, we drove back from Missouri on Sunday and drove back from Missouri, and then we went out with my friends, and they're like, "You just went 13 hours on the road." It's like, that's, it's another day, whatever. My boyfriend and I took dinner. It's like, that's just another day.
Just another. Well, first of all, wow, that's great. The Johnny Cash, so it is in your blood. I get it. When you get home though from these tours and performing, do you feel relaxed, or do you start getting, is there a point where you start going, I got to get back on the road. I got to get back on the road.
Yeah, I definitely get restless.
You got to get out there. You're restless is better.
Yes. The song Hello Highway, which is that's what we called the summer tour, because we're going to 8 states and 2 countries, whatever. But it's the first words of that song are, "I wonder why I wander till I'm back home again." And so it's like I get a little restless after a certain period, and I like to be on the road. I like to see new places. I like the sound of the tires. I can't help it.
See, you're still a poet.
I try.
I like that. Band from Santa Fe was your first album back in 2011. I wanted to know, is that since you say there's a lot of truth in your songs, that title, Band from Santa Fe, is there a story there?
Yes, it's
a story you can tell.
If you go through, yeah, sure, why not? I've told them all on stage, but I think that when you go through a breakup with somebody who's from a small town, the whole town kind of hates you, so which feels unfair. So it wasn't in Santa Fe, but I decided to write it about Santa Fe, just the rhymes and stuff. But I love my home state, obviously, but I remember my very first radio interview for that record. Band from Santa Fe was the first single, and the very first radio DJ said, "Wow, it's really smart you wrote a song about a city in New Mexico and a city in Texas." And I said, "Oh yeah, super smart. I had no idea there's a Santa Fe, Texas, but there is." I've been there many times now, but I didn't know that when I wrote the song.
That was your plan the whole time, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Just speaking of taking credits,
there we go. Take the compliment.
Take the compliment. You've seen your audience grow and diversify as you have grown personally over the years yourself. your personal growth and your musical growth with your fan base been an easy transition for you? Or have there been times when the two didn't really coincide with what you were going through personally?
Hmm. I think my fan base has absolutely grown up with me. You can see, I mean, I have a ton of fans that have been around for 10 years. That's crazy, you know.
Hmm.
But the challenge that I'm facing now is that 90% of my fan base is over 30, because I'm over 30, and we've all been, and we kind of go through the same things together. Or when I write, even if it's not about me, it might be about my friends, what my friends are going through. So my fan base is all my age and older. And so the struggle now is I'm not really cool with the young kids because I don't write for them. I write for me and I write for
Yeah.
the people around me. And so trying to reach the younger demographic that's what's been hard for me. But I kind of just don't I don't really think about that when I write. Like I'm not trying to be hip or whatever. I'm just
Mhm.
trying to write what's true to me. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, there are plenty of people who do. So
Mhm.
I don't cater my music to a certain demographic at all, and I never have.
Well, performing and when you're out on the road and you're meeting people, is there a secret for you personally to break that, to break down? I mean, it's communicating, right? It's connecting ultimately with your fans and new fans. Is there a way personally that you win them over, that you connect? Or is it just through you hope that the music does that? Or is there a personal, you know, method on stage or afterwards meeting fans that you're conscious of, like a secret, almost a secret weapon to gain new fans?
Hmm. I think I think seeing us live, I've had a lot of people, or the last manager that I had was kind of like, oh, I get it now. Like he said, once he saw the show, he said, oh, I get it now, because it's kind of, it's, I try to craft the show like a story almost, and that you will hear the songs, you'll hear the stories behind the songs, and you'll hear exactly what I'm thinking and feeling on that day, and you'll hear jokes, and you'll hear, or you'll see the connection with um, my band members who are my best friends. And so I think it's a whole experience beyond the songs. I've seen a lot of artists do it both ways. I've seen people not tell stories at all, and I still love the show. And I've seen people that tell only stories, and I love the show. So I just kind of try to make it just what I love is I love to hear the stories behind the songs. And so I try to communicate that as best I can on stage. I think it's important for people to hear that.
Yeah. Well, you're really great at connecting. The new album's Corazón y Cabeza, Heart and the Head. What is that? Tell me about the album a little bit and some of the musicians that you play with and the idea behind the album, your newest album.
Cool. Sure. Yeah, I think it was important to me to put some Spanish in the title because there's like a little bit of Spanish sprinkled in throughout the record. So it's kind of a nod to what's going to happen with the songwriting. But I feel like this is a very border town desert style record, which is a weird thing to say. But my producer is Rachel Loy, who is an incredible producer. She also plays bass throughout the record, on the record, and she sings some harmonies, and she really helped tweak a lot of the songs. So I give a lot of credit to her for sitting down with me and really tearing apart all of the songs and putting them back together with me. And so we recorded the record in Nashville in two different sessions, but 2 days. So the record was made, all the tracks were made in 2 days, and 2 half days really. And so we would make sure the songs were perfect, ready to go. We knew the key, we knew the tempo, we knew the form, and then we went in and knocked out the songs with some of the best musicians in Nashville the session musicians there are just amazing. And my boyfriend played rhythm guitar on all the tracks and sang some harmonies too, so that's really fun.
What's his name?
And
You
his
gotta
name
give
is
him
Paul
credit.
Eason.
Paul Eason.
Yeah, this is mostly his cool stuff behind me.
So if you're
And all
listening
of our
on the
guitars.
radio, Bri's referring to, you can see on the YouTube channel, Bri's in her studio or her boyfriend's studio. Together they share. So I'm sorry, I was just
Yes.
letting the listeners know you're showing the studio
Yeah.
behind you.
I forget that you can't see it on the radio, but then I refer to all the guitars that you actually can't see in this screen either. But we have, I think, 27 guitars in our house, that's a lot of guitars. But he plays in a band called the Wilder Blue, and they're really great. And so a couple of the dates I'm doing in July, the ones in Iowa and Missouri and Kansas, the rest of this month are with his band. So that's going to be really fun.
I love the name of his band, the Wilder Blue. That's another really visual name. It really gets you. It brings to mind visions.
Yeah, I've actually never thought of that before because Corazón y Cabeza is a line from one of my songs, and that became the title of the record. It's not a title of a song, but the Wilder Blue is also a line in one of their songs that became the title of the record. So I've always kind of done that. My last record before this one was called In My Defense, and that was also a line from one of the songs. So I kind of like to take a line from a tune and make it the theme of the record. And In My Defense, that whole record was kind of like, hey, this is the way I am, and here's why. There's 10 songs kind of telling you that this is why I am the way I am. And this record is Heart and Head. It was I've been writing religiously. I write a song every 2 weeks, no matter what. And before that, I was writing one song every single week without skipping a week, which is a lot of songwriting. And so some of it came from my heart, and it was very, inspired. But some of it came from like the times where I had to I'm not inspired. I don't want to do this, but I am forcing myself to do this, and sit down. And like the mental discipline of songwriting too came into play a lot with this record. And some of my favorite songs are written when I didn't want to write. So I'm glad that I forced myself to do that.
So is there a I mean, you kind of answered this question. Is there a certain mood? Have you pinpointed that, or is it just, it comes to you when it comes to you, and even comes to you when you force yourself? You have to force yourself to go through the exercise. But is there a certain time or a way that you feel where you felt almost like you're a receptacle to the music, to the lyrics that flow from you? Is there a certain, do you understand my question?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I'm
phrasing
it right.
Absolutely. No, totally. I mean, I think it's both, because I was in Mexico 2 weeks ago and I had a song due, with the homework that I give myself, and I didn't want to leave the pool and the pina coladas to go write a song, and I did, and I loved the song. So that. But then the other day I was home by myself and just had a song idea. It came to me. I always say, like, it comes to me from a power that's above me, and I kind of can feel like puzzle pieces in my head or my heart or wherever they are that day, and then I just have to take them and put them together as a song. So sometimes it feels like it doesn't really come from me, and sometimes it feels like I have to drag it out of myself. So I think it's a combination. And I think I was a songwriter at Sony ATV in Nashville for 3 years, and people go there in that town and they write as if it's a day job. And I thought that was so stupid, but there is something really magical about treating songwriting as a discipline. So you're not blinking and 6 months go by and you haven't written a song because you don't feel inspired. So I think for me, it at least comes from both places.
And such great songwriting, such great music. Bri Bagwell, country